Hi everybody, my name is Cody Morgan. I'm here with Sam Canders, GOP candidate for District 15 in Bangor, conducting a short interview.
Nice glad to be here, Cody. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. So Sam, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in northern Maine, which I'm very proud of my county roots. My initial family settled up there in the 1800s. They were farmers, and they settled up in northern Maine. And like I said, sixth generation. I ended up graduating high school there, and at the time, decided to go away to college. I went to school in Arizona. It's an aviation university, and my major was aeronautical science with a minor in meteorology, basically a professional pilot. That's what I was aspiring to be. I'd learned to fly up in northern Maine, and decided that was something I wanted to do. And I finished 4 years of college, did some Army ROTC while I was there, which allowed me to be commissioned into the United States Army as a second lieutenant. I was selected in a very competitive process to be an aviation officer. So I immediately, after graduating, actually the next day, I drove over to Alabama, where I went through initial entry rotor wing training to be a helicopter pilot. Through that over a year-long process, I learned to fly various airframe to helicopters, and ended my training learning to fly the UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter. So I served my first assignment, was considered an overseas assignment, Hawaii. I consider that my hardship tour. So I went and did that for 3 years before returning back to the States to attend some mandatory schooling for an aviation officer, for military officer training. And my next assignment I spent down in Central America, in Honduras, and I was down there serving basically for a joint task force doing humanitarian support, counter-drug operations. And I spent about a year and a half, almost 2 years there. Had a small break in that time to go to Haiti for peacekeeping operations in support of Operation Secure Tomorrow. So I went over and did that. Probably the finest job I ever had in the Army was while I was in Honduras. I was a company commander, responsible for over 55 personnel and 12 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters. And that was extremely challenging to me, probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done as far as a leader and as far as a person. And it was just a great experience, and I wouldn't have traded that for the world. I made the difficult decision to get out of the Army at the time. I just didn't see myself doing that as a career, and decided to enter the private workforce as an airline pilot. I started to do that a little bit, and then went back into the Air National Guard this time to fly C-130s for the Air National Guard, and I did that. So throughout my early years, I guess most of my background is with the military. I'm a major now in the Air National Guard. And through that time, I've probably been deployed about 2.5 years of my life. That includes about 4 tours to Afghanistan, 3 tours with the C-130, doing transport operations throughout Afghanistan and throughout the theater, as well as an additional tour that I did was a special missions tour on a different airframe that I did. All in all, I've flown probably about 800 combat hours, and that's probably over 200 sorties over at least a year anyway, plus time. So.
Wow. Most candidates have a reason why they got into the race, whether it's a current issue or something that's coming down through the legislature. What's yours?
Well, I would have to say that I became passionate about issues on the federal level, and if anything, it was fiscal responsibility. And I started to get involved as much as I could locally, but it's difficult sometimes when you're not in the know to get into that process and realize, what type of impact you can have. So the outlet for me initially, I participated in a local caucus. I had the opportunity to speak here in Bangor at a local caucus. And afterwards, fortunately, I was approached by a member of the legislature, Doug Damon, who had mentioned to me how they needed somebody to fill District 15 or somebody to compete to run in District 15 as a Republican. So initially it wasn't anything that I had planned to do, but I felt that it's definitely an outlet that I could take as far as to be involved. It's not the only outlet. I've had opportunities locally here in Bangor. I'm working with Citizens Initiative to work on an issue that is very important to me, which is the fiscal responsibility piece, and it has to deal with limiting spending. To me, not just at the city level, but also the state and federal level, this is a serious issue that we're going to have to deal with. And I know how I run my house, and to me, I can't stand debt. It's a burden, and it's not just a burden to me, but it could be a burden to future generations. So I think if you're gonna buy something and you really want that nice new shiny toy, you're going to have to pay for it. And I don't necessarily think credit's the best way to do that. So that's the issue that most energizes me as far as that I'm passionate about is fiscal responsibility, and that's kind of how I got down this road. And I'm really looking forward to not only taking that fight, but additional fights down to Augusta.
Most people can agree that the state of Maine and the country are facing some very serious economic problems. That being said, in what ways would you try to remedy this situation for your district and in the state of Maine?
As far as, well, if you're talking about jobs, is that what you're kind of getting at?
I'm talking the economy as a whole.
The economy in general. Well, I'd say, first of all, as any member of legislature, I don't think you're going to create any job other than a government job, and I'm not really interested at any level of creating any more jobs unless we find a way to pay for it. I think that business owners and the entrepreneurs are the one to create jobs and to stimulate the economy and get things moving. We can help create the environment through legislature or through the process, but for the most part, probably less regulations would be more beneficial to our state than more legislation. So as far as an individual plan, unless I'm creating a business on my own, I'm not doing a whole lot to make jobs. So I look to the smart people that are individuals that have jobs that maybe can come to me within this district, give me some ideas on what they need or what regulations are hampering or preventing their business from growing. And as far as an individual, any individual actually within the district, if they want to help participate, they can do that as well. And I'd say, do your best to support local businesses, to get out there, and if you want to buy something, try to buy it from a local business. That's pretty much all I can give you for an answer there.
On your campaign website, samcanders.com, you say that you are a, quote, steward of Maine's woodlands, end quote, caring for over 100 acres of farmland. Tell me a little bit about your opinions of agriculture in Maine, owning that sort of land.
Well, that's been an interesting process for me. My county roots, agriculture is extremely important to me. Our entire economy up there at one time was either based through Loring Air Force Base up there or farming. And I spent a lot of time, everyone makes their jokes about people from the county. We literally did get out of school to go and help in the fields and farm, and I did that at all levels, from working in the fields to on the harvesters to driving a potato truck, at the early age of 16, 17 years of age. So agriculture is extremely important to me. And as far as in Maine, I love to help work with local farmers, because I like to see local produce and to support local farmers, because that is, just in your previous question, that's supporting the local economy. And there's probably nothing healthier than being able to go to local farmers market, talking with the person who's growing your food, and finding more about them and how your food gets to your table. Mm-hmm. And as far as my little farm, I sponsor a farmer down there. Hopefully they'll do a little bit more next year over the years, but I hope to help stimulate the economy in that way, and helping maybe one individual, and that could turn into more jobs. We have planted about 40 different types of fruit trees down there that eventually will...
Some critics would say that because of your lack of political and government experience, you don't fit the formula for a winning candidate. Explain why those people are wrong.
Well, I would suggest that maybe if I don't fit the mold, or I don't fit the formula, that maybe the formula is the fault in itself. I just see what's going on, and how I got into government, or as far as being involved in the entire process, was just through apathy in general. And I think most people, they feel as though they almost feel helpless. So, I don't have all the answers. All I want to do is be involved in the process. I'm doing my part to be involved. All I can do is encourage other people to be involved. But one thing I have a huge problem with is people complaining about the issues or the problems, but not offering any solutions. So, I may not be the best guy, but at least I'm some guy that did step up and say, I'm tired of what's going on, and I'd like to be a part of this, and let's not just be a part of the problem, let's be a part of the solution. So, here I am. If you want to criticize me for wanting to take a more active role, not only in local government, but also state government, then bring it on, because I'm open to the criticism.
Excellent. I don't have any more questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up?
I just want to thank everyone that has supported me so far. I mean, this is a difficult process. One of the things, when I started this, that kind of got me along this road was just the sense of apathy and the lack of involvement. And if anything, I would just ask that people get involved at all levels, whether it be in your town or in your local communities, to look at the issues that are affecting our country, because I really do feel as though that it's a destructive force within our country. So I'd like to see more people participate in the process, not just through voting, but being involved in government and be a part of the solution, not part of the problem.
Well, Sam, thank you very much. I'm glad you were here.